The message came to every planet at the same time. It was a red alert from the Galactic Federation. Something terrible had woken up in the Kepler expanse. The void worm, a creature that everyone thought was dead for 10,000 years, was alive again. It had already eaten 3 mining colonies. Not destroyed them. Eaten them. The people, the buildings, even the rocks and metal, everything was gone. The Federation needed hunters. The best hunters from every world. On the planet Veloria, Commander Thesa received the call. She was tall and beautiful, with silver skin and 4 arms. Each arm could hold a sword. She had killed 3 leviathans in her life. Leviathans were creatures as big as mountains. Thesa was proud and strong. She packed her weapons and left for the Federation station immediately. On Grimnor Prime, a world covered in volcanoes and fire, Warlord Dragon heard the message. He was 7 feet tall. Half his body was machine. He had fought in 40 wars and never lost. He laughed when he heard about the void worm. Finally, he thought, a real challenge. The insectoid hive mind sent their champion too. This being had no name that other species could pronounce. It was a perfect fighter. It never felt fear. It never made mistakes. Its mind was connected to a billion other minds, all thinking together. Many other hunters came from many other worlds. They were the best of the best, legends, heroes, monsters who hunted other monsters. And then there was Earth. Earth was new to the galaxy. Humans had only made contact with aliens about 100 years ago. They were considered weak, soft. Their planet was small. Their technology was basic. Most aliens thought humans were lucky to even be in the Federation. But the rules said every member planet must send a hunter. So Earth had to send someone. The Federation representatives waited at the arrival station. They expected Earth to send a general. Maybe a soldier with lots of medals. Maybe a robot designed for combat. The portal from Earth glowed blue. Then it opened. A boy walked through. He was 17 years old. He wore a gray hoodie and old jeans. His hair was messy. He had earbuds hanging around his neck. His name was Park Do-yun, and he looked like he had just woken up from a nap. He looked around at the massive station, at the alien warriors in their armor, at the flags of 100 worlds. Then he yawned. "This better not take long," he said. "I have a chemistry exam on Monday." The Federation representatives looked at each other. Surely this was a joke. Surely the real hunter would come through next. A woman stepped through the portal behind the boy. She was in her 30s with sharp eyes and a military uniform. Her name was Captain Yoon Hannah. She was Earth's official representative. "Earth presents our candidate," she announced. Her voice was calm and professional. But if you looked closely, you could see her eye twitch a little. "Park Do-yun, please try not to underestimate him." Commander Thesa stepped forward. She towered over the human boy. Her silver skin reflected the station lights. "This is a joke," she said. "You send a child to hunt the void worm?" Do-yun looked up at her. He did not seem impressed by her height or her muscles or her 4 arms. "I didn't ask to be here," he said. "Blame them," he pointed at Captain Yoon. "Can we just get this over with?" Warlord Dragon laughed. It was a loud, booming sound. "The humans mock us. They send their weakest as an insult." Captain Yoon raised her hand. "I assure you Do-yun is not our weakest. He is our strongest. This?" Thesa pointed at the boy. "This small, soft creature?" "Yes, explain." Captain Yoon took a breath. This was always the hard part. 20 years ago, Earth experienced something called the Great Solar Flare. Massive radiation hit our planet. Most people were fine. But some people changed. They developed abilities. We call them awakened. "Psychics," the hive mind representative said. "We know of such beings. They are usually weak, limited." "Usually, yes," Captain Yoon agreed. "But not Do-yun. He is a Class 7 awakened. The only one Earth has ever recorded." "What does that mean?" Dragon demanded. Do-yun answered before Yoon could speak. "It means I can see where to hurt things. I can feel when something wants to kill me, and I can move fast." He shrugged. "Really fast." "Words," Thesa said. "Prove it." Do-Yun sighed. He looked at Captain Yoon. "Do I have to?" "It would help." "Fine." He moved. No one saw him move. One moment he was standing in front of Thesa. The next moment he was behind her. He was holding one of her swords. He had taken it from her belt without her noticing. Thesa spun around, her other 3 hands reaching for weapons. But Do-Yun was already walking away, dropping her sword on the ground. "I don't want to be here," he said. "I don't care about glory or fame or whatever you people care about. I just want to kill this stupid worm and go home." He looked back at the shocked aliens. "So can we please start?" The station was silent. Commander Thesa picked up her sword slowly. Her hands were shaking. Not from fear, from anger. This human boy had humiliated her in front of everyone. But also, deep inside she felt something else. Something she had not felt in a long time. She felt doubt. Captain Yoon walked up beside Do-Yun. "You could try being more polite," she whispered. "Why?" "Because these people will be fighting beside you. You need them to trust you." Do-Yun put his earbuds in. "I don't need anyone to trust me. I just need them to stay out of my way." He walked toward the quarters they had assigned him, leaving behind a room full of the galaxy's greatest warriors, all staring at his back. The hunt had not even started yet. But somehow, everything had already changed. The Federation had rules. No hunter could face the Void Worm without proving their strength first. There would be 3 trials. Every hunter had to complete them. Do-Yun thought this was a waste of time, but Captain Yoon told him he had no choice. So he agreed to participate. He did not agree to try hard. The first trial was combat simulation. The hunters would enter a large room. Holographic monsters would appear. The hunters had to kill as many as possible, as fast as possible. The monsters were not real, but they could hurt. If a hunter took too much damage, they would fail. Commander Thesa went first. She was amazing to watch. Her 4 arms moved like water. Her swords cut through the holographic beasts like they were made of paper. She killed wave after wave without stopping. When she finished, the timer showed 4 minutes and 32 seconds. The other hunters clapped. It was an incredible time. Thesa smiled proudly. "Let the human try to beat that," she said. Do-Yun was sitting in the corner, listening to music. Captain Yoon tapped his shoulder. "Your turn." He sighed and stood up. He did not stretch. He did not prepare. He just walked into the simulation room with his hands in his pockets. The door closed behind him. The watching hunters expected him to fail. They expected him to run away or cry or beg for help. What they saw was different. The first wave of monsters appeared. Do-Yun moved through them like a ghost. He did not have a weapon. He did not need one. His hands struck pressure points. His feet swept legs. Monsters fell without understanding what hit them. The second wave was faster. So was Do-Yun. The third wave had bigger monsters. Do-Yun did not slow down. The hunters watching started to lean forward. Their mouths fell open. When the simulation ended, the timer showed 47 seconds. Not 4 minutes. 47 seconds. Do-Yun walked out of the room. He was not breathing hard. He was not sweating. He looked bored. "The AI patterns repeat after the third wave," he said. "Pretty basic." No one knew what to say. The second trial tested survival. The hunters would enter a special chamber. The chamber would change. Sometimes it would be very hot. Sometimes very cold. Sometimes the air would become poisoned. Sometimes the gravity would become 10 times stronger. Warlord Dragon was famous for his endurance. He entered the chamber with confidence. The heat came first. His skin turned red, but he did not fall. The cold came next. Ice formed on his metal parts, but he kept standing. The poison air made him cough, but he filtered it through his cybernetic lungs. The gravity pushed him to his knees, but he refused to collapse. 6 hours. That was how long Dragan lasted. When he finally came out, he could barely walk. But he was smiling. "Beat that, little human," he growled. Do-yun entered the chamber. The heat came. He sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes. The cold came. He did not move. The poison air came. He kept breathing normally. The gravity increased. He stayed perfectly still. Hours passed. The other hunters grew restless. Some left to eat or sleep. Some stayed to watch, unable to believe what they were seeing. 8 hours passed. Then 10, then 12. Finally, the Federation officials stopped the trial. It was clear that Do-yun could stay there forever. He walked out looking exactly the same as when he walked in. "How?" Dragan demanded. "How is this possible?" Do-yun shrugged. "I told my body not to die." It listened. "That makes no sense." "Okay." Do-yun walked away to find food. The third trial was strategy. The hunters would be given a puzzle, a military problem with no easy answer. They had to find a solution. The hive mind representative finished the puzzle in 2 hours. Its billion connected minds worked together perfectly. Do-yun looked at the puzzle for 5 minutes. Then he pointed at a spot on the map. "Attack here. The enemy's supply line is weak. Cut it and they starve in 3 days." War over, the judges checked his answer. It was correct. Not just correct. It was better than the hive mind's answer. By now, the other hunters were very uncomfortable. They had spent their lives training. They had fought wars and killed monsters and earned their reputations through blood and pain. This human boy was making them look like beginners. Some hunters began to whisper. They said Earth must be cheating. They said Do-yun must be a machine or a clone or some kind of illegal experiment. Captain Yoon heard the whispers. She found Do-yun in the food hall, eating something that looked like noodles. "You're making enemies," she said, sitting across from him. "I noticed. Maybe try to look less bored? Show some respect for their abilities?" Do-yun slurped his noodles. "Their abilities are fine. They're just not as good as mine. Why should I pretend otherwise? Because they might try to hurt you. Let them try. Do-yun, please. We need these alliances. Earth is still new to the Federation. We cannot afford to make powerful enemies." Do-yun finally looked up at her. His eyes were tired. Always tired. "Captain Yoon, I did not ask for these abilities. I did not ask to be Class 7. I did not ask to be sent here to hunt a monster while I should be studying for my exam." He put down his chopsticks. "I will do the job. I will kill the worm, but I will not smile and bow and pretend to be impressed by people who are weaker than me. That would be lying. And I am too tired to lie." Yoon studied him for a moment. Sometimes she forgot that under all that power, he was still just a teenager. A teenager who had never asked for any of this. "Just try not to get killed before the hunt starts," she said. "I'll do my best." That night, Do-yun lay in his quarters and stared at the ceiling. He could feel them. The killing intense. Small ones from hunters who were angry but not serious. And bigger ones from hunters who were actually thinking about doing something. He closed his eyes. Let them come, he thought. Let them all come. He was not afraid. He was just very, very tired. And he really wanted to go home. The hunting party left the station on a ship called the Starfall. It was a massive vessel, big enough to carry all 12 hunters and their equipment. The journey to the Kepler expanse would take 3 standard cycles, about 9 Earth days. Do-yun spent most of his time in his small room. He listened to music. He slept. He read books on his tablet. Captain Yoon brought him food and updates. He mostly ignored both. Outside his room, the other hunters talked about him constantly. "The human is hiding," Warlord Dragan said on the first day. "He knows he got lucky in the trials. He is afraid to face us." "Or he is conserving energy," the hive mind representative suggested. "Predators often rest before a hunt." "He is no predator. He is a child playing games." Commander Thesa said nothing. She had felt his speed when he took her sword. She knew he was not playing games. But she also could not accept that a human teenager was stronger than her. Her pride would not allow it. On the second day, Dragan tried to challenge Do-Yun to a sparring match. Do-Yun refused. "Why would I fight you?" he asked. "We are on the same team." "To prove yourself." "I already proved myself." "You watched?" Dragan's face turned red with anger. "You are a coward." Do-Yun put his earbuds back in. Okay, he closed his door. That night something changed. 3 hunters met in secret in the cargo bay. Commander Thesa was there. Dragan was there. A third hunter, a reptilian warrior named Gorak, was there too. "The human must die," Gorak hissed. "If he kills the Void Worm, Earth will gain too much power. The Federation balance will shift." "Agreed," Dragan said. "We eliminate him before we arrive. We say it was an accident. Training gone wrong." Thesa hesitated. "This feels wrong." "He is still a child." "He is a threat," Gorak said. "You saw what he did. No species should have that much power. If we let him live, what will Earth become? What will humans become?" Thesa thought about her homeworld. She thought about her people. She thought about how hard they had worked to become respected in the galaxy. "Fine," she said quietly. "Tonight. We do it tonight." What they did not know was that Do-Yun could feel their intentions. From 3 decks away, through metal walls and closed doors, he felt the killing intent sharpen and focus. It was like a cold wind blowing against his mind. He opened his eyes in the darkness of his room. "Finally," he murmured. Captain Yoon was sleeping in her quarters when she heard a sound. She grabbed her weapon and ran toward the cargo bay. She had a bad feeling. A very bad feeling. She arrived to find the cargo bay doors already open. Inside, Do-Yun was waiting. He stood in the center of the large room, surrounded by shipping containers and equipment. His hands were relaxed at his sides. 3 figures emerged from the shadows. Thesa, Dragan, and Gorak. "You knew we were coming," Thesa said. "It was not a question." "Your killing intent was very loud," Do-Yun replied. "Like screaming in a quiet room?" Dragan cracked his metal knuckles. "It does not matter. 3 against 1. Even you cannot win." Do-Yun tilted his head. "Are you sure?" "Enough talk," Gorak hissed and attacked. Captain Yoon watched from the doorway. She wanted to help. She wanted to call security. But something made her stop. She needed to see this. She needed to know what Do-Yun truly was. Gorak was fast. His claws could cut through starship armor. He struck at Do-Yun's throat, aiming to kill in one blow. Do-Yun moved his head 2 inches to the left. The claws missed. Gorak struck again. And again. And again. Each time, Do-Yun moved just enough to avoid the attack. He was not even looking at Gorak, he was looking at Thesa and Dragan, waiting for them to join. "Fight back, coward." Gorak screamed. Do-Yun sighed. Then he moved. 1 palm strike to Gorak's chest. The reptilian flew backward and crashed into a container. He did not get up. Dragan roared and charged. His cybernetic arm transformed into a massive blade. He swung with enough force to cut a small ship in half. Do-Yun dropped low, swept Dragan's legs, and used the big warrior's own momentum to flip him onto his back. Before Dragan could recover, Do-Yun pressed 2 fingers against his neck. Dragan's eyes went wide, and then he went limp. Not dead, just unconscious. Now only Thesa remained. She held all 4 swords ready. Her silver skin was glowing with energy. This was her full power, the strength that had killed Leviathans. "I do not want to fight you," Do-Yun said. "But I will if you make me." "You humiliated me," Thesa growled. "You took my sword like I was nothing." "I did not mean to humiliate you. I was just showing them what I could do. It felt the same." She attacked. Thesa was good. Better than Gorak, better than Dragan. Her 4 arms created a wall of blades striking from every direction at once. Do-yun weaved between the attacks like water flowing around rocks. He did not strike back. He just avoided. Again and again. "Fight me!" Thisa screamed. "Stop playing." "I am not playing," Do-yun said calmly. "I am giving you a chance to stop." "I will never stop." She swung all 4 swords at once, putting everything into one final attack. Do-yun caught 2 of the blades with his bare hands. The edges cut his palms. Blood dripped onto the floor. But he held them firm. Then he twisted. The swords shattered. Thisa stumbled back, staring at her broken weapons. Before she could react, Do-yun was behind her, his bloody hand pressed against her spine. "I could kill you right now," he said quietly. "One pulse of energy through your nervous system. You would not even feel it." Thisa froze. "But I will not. Because we need you for the hunt." He removed his hand and stepped back. "The void worm is not a creature I can kill alone. I know my limits. I need all of you." He looked down at his bleeding hands, then at the 3 fallen hunters. "Do not try this again. Next time I might be too tired to hold back." He walked past Captain Yoon without looking at her. "Do-yun," she called. "Your hands need medical attention. They will heal. At least let me clean the wounds." He stopped, turned. For a moment he looked like what he truly was. Not a weapon, not a monster, just a tired, hurt teenager far from home. "Fine," he said quietly. She followed him to the medical bay. Behind them, Thisa sat among the wreckage of her pride. Her swords were broken. Her confidence was broken. But something else was growing in her heart, respect. For the first time, she truly understood. This boy was not their enemy. He was their only hope. The starfall arrived at the Kepler expanse on the morning of the 10th day. What the hunters saw made them all go silent. The mining colonies were gone. Not destroyed? Gone, where there had been stations and ships and thousands of workers, there was only empty space. No debris, no wreckage, no bodies, just nothing. "The void worm feeds on matter itself," Captain Yoon read from the Federation briefing. "It does not just kill. It erases." Do-yun stood at the observation window, staring at the emptiness. His face showed no emotion, but his hands were slightly shaking. "It is close," he said. "I can feel it. What does it feel like?" Thisa asked. She had not tried to hurt him since the cargo bay. In fact, she had been strangely respectful. "Wrong," Do-yun replied. "Like a hole in the universe. A place where nothing should exist, but something does anyway." The starfall landed on Kepler Station 7. It was the last station still standing, though barely. Half of it was missing. The void worm had started eating it before moving on to easier targets. The 12 hunters gathered in what remained of the station's main hall. Most of them were nervous. Even Warlord Dragan, who had woken up with a headache and a new respect for Do-yun, looked uncomfortable. "Standard formation," Dragan said, trying to take command. "We surround the creature. Attack from all sides. Contain it until we find its weakness." "That will not work," Do-yun said. Dragan's jaw tightened. "You have a better plan?" "Yes." Do-yun walked to the center of the room. "The void worm does not exist only in this dimension. It exists in many dimensions at once. If we try to surround it here, it will simply move to another dimension and attack us from there." The hive mind representative made a clicking sound. "You can perceive multiple dimensions?" "I can see weakness." "Any weakness?" "In any creature." Do-yun's tired eyes seemed to look far away. "The worm has a core, one single point where all its dimensional forms connect, like the center of a spider's web. If I can reach that core and destroy it, the whole creature dies. How do we help you reach it?" Thisa asked. "You do not surround the worm, you hurt it. Push it. Force it to stop spreading across dimensions and consolidate in one place. When it does that, the core will become visible. Then I strike." "That sounds impossible," Gorak said. He had also recovered from the cargo bay fight. His pride was hurt, but he was listening. "It is the only way," Do-Yun said simply. I cannot see the core when it is spread across dimensions. You cannot kill what you cannot find. Captain Yoon stepped forward. So our job is to make the creature angry? Make it focus on us? Yes, you are bait? Do-Yun looked at the hunters. I know this is not glorious. I know you all came here to be heroes. But the truth is simple. You cannot kill this thing. Only I can. Your job is to give me the chance. Silence filled the room. Then Thesa laughed. It was a strange sound, but not angry. You are honest, she said. I respect that. I will be your bait, Park Do-Yun. One by one, the other hunters agreed. Even Dragon. Even Gorak, the hunt began. The void worm was worse than anything they had imagined. It was a creature of living darkness, bigger than a mountain, constantly shifting and changing. Parts of it existed in this dimension, other parts flickered in and out of reality. It made a sound that was not a sound, a pressure in their minds that made them want to run away and never stop running. But they did not run. The hunters attacked. Thesa's new swords cut through tendrils of darkness. Dragon's weapons fired blasts of energy that scattered pieces of the worm. The hive mind's champion moved with perfect precision, cutting exactly where it would hurt most. The worm screamed in their minds. It was angry, confused. These small creatures were hurting it. How dare they? It began to consolidate. It is working. Captain Yoon shouted into her communicator. Do-Yun, can you see it? Do-Yun was standing apart from the battle, his eyes closed. He was not watching with his eyes. He was watching with something deeper. Not yet. Keep pushing. Gorak was grabbed by a tendril and thrown against the wall. His armor cracked, but he got up and kept fighting. 2 other hunters were hurt badly. They had to retreat. Still, the remaining hunters pushed forward. Hours passed. The hunters grew tired. Their weapons ran out of power. Their bodies screamed for rest. But they kept going. And finally, Do-Yun saw it. Deep inside the mass of living darkness, there was a point of absolute black. A core no larger than a human heart. It was the center of everything. The one place where the void worm was truly vulnerable. There, Do-Yun whispered. He opened his eyes. Everyone get back, now. The hunters retreated. They were exhausted. Some could barely walk. Do-Yun stepped forward. The void worm turned its attention to him. All of it. Every dimension, every part of its being focused on this one small human. It should have been terrifying. It was terrifying. Do-Yun felt the weight of the creature's age, its power, its hunger. It had eaten stars. It had consumed civilizations. What was one human boy? Do-Yun thought of his grandmother's cooking. He thought of his small room at home. He thought of the chemistry exam he was probably going to fail. Then he moved. To the hunters watching, it looked like he disappeared. One moment he was standing in front of the worm, the next moment he was inside it. The darkness closed around him. It was cold. Colder than space. The worm tried to consume him, to erase him like it had erased the mining colonies. But Do-Yun was not matter. Not really. He was will. He was stubbornness. He was a teenager who refused to die because dying would be inconvenient. He reached the core. It pulsed with dark energy. It was beautiful in a terrible way. The heart of a god-eating monster. Do-Yun grabbed it. The void worm screamed. The sound broke equipment. It cracked walls. Some hunters fell to their knees, blood coming from their ears. Do-Yun squeezed. The core cracked. He squeezed harder. The core shattered. The void worm collapsed. All of its mass, all of its dimensional parts, everything it was folded inward. It imploded into nothing. Truly nothing. Not even dust remained. Where the monster had been, there was only Do-Yun, standing, barely, the core's remains turned to dust in his hand. He looked at the hunters. At Captain Yoon, at Thesa and Dragon and all the others. Done, he said. Then his eyes rolled back and he fell forward. Captain Yoon caught him before he hit the ground. He was alive. His heart was beating, but he was unconscious, his body finally giving in to exhaustion. Thesa limped over and looked down at the sleeping boy. He did it, she said quietly. He actually did it. Dragan nodded slowly. I have fought many battles. I have never seen anything like that. Captain Yoon held Do-yeon carefully. He was so light, so young. Let's get him home, she said. He has earned some rest. The surviving hunters gathered their wounded and returned to the starfall. Behind them, the Kepler expanse was quiet. The void worm was dead, and the galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. Do-yeon woke up 3 days later in a Federation medical bay. The room was white and clean. Machines beeped softly around him. His body ached in places he did not know could ache. Captain Yoon was sitting in a chair next to his bed, reading something on her datapad. When she noticed his eyes open, she smiled. Welcome back, she said. Do-yeon tried to sit up. His arms felt like they were made of water. How long? He managed to ask. 3 days. The doctor said you should have been unconscious for a week. They do not understand how human bodies work. She put down her datapad. How do you feel? Terrible. He finally managed to push himself into a sitting position. Like I got hit by a spaceship. You basically went inside a dimension-eating monster and punched its heart. I think that is worse than getting hit by a spaceship. Do-yeon almost smiled. Almost. The door opened. A Federation official entered, followed by several alien dignitaries. They wore expensive clothes and important expressions. Ah, the hero awakens, the official announced. Park Do-yeon, the Galactic Federation wishes to honor you. We are preparing a ceremony. Medals, speeches, representatives from 100 worlds will attend. Do-yeon looked at him. No, the official blinked. Excuse me? No ceremony? No medals. No speeches. But you saved the galaxy. You killed the void worm. Surely you want recognition for your achievements? Do-yeon lay back down and stared at the ceiling. I did not do it for recognition. I did it because you asked Earth for help, and Earth asked me. The job is done. I want to go home. The dignitaries exchanged confused looks. In their experience, heroes always wanted glory. They wanted statues and songs and their names remembered forever. This human boy wanted none of that. We have also received several marriage proposals on your behalf, the official continued, checking his notes. 3 planetary royals have expressed interest. This would create powerful alliances for Earth. No, there are also recruitment offers. 12 different military organizations want to hire you. The compensation would be astronomical. No, the Galactic Science Institute wants to study your abilities. They say you could help them understand human evolution. No. Captain Yoon was struggling not to laugh. She had told the Federation that Do-yeon would refuse everything. They had not believed her. The door opened again. Commander Thesa entered, her arm in a healing sleeve. Behind her were Dragan and Gorak, both looking battered but alive. The Federation officials stepped aside. Thesa walked to Do-yeon's bed and stood at attention. It was a warrior's posture. A posture of respect. Park Do-yeon, she said formally. I come to apologize. I tried to kill you. I was wrong. Do-yeon looked at her. Yes, you were wrong. I was also afraid. Afraid of what you represented. Afraid of what humans might become. She lowered her head. But I have seen what you truly are now. Not a monster. Not a weapon. Just a young person with a power he did not ask for, trying to do the right thing. Dragan stepped forward. I also apologize. I called you a coward. You are the bravest warrior I have ever seen. Gorak nodded. I thought you were a threat. Now I see you are Earth's protector. Your planet is lucky to have you. Do-yeon was quiet for a long moment. I am not a protector, he finally said. I am just a student who wants to pass his chemistry exam. He looked at the 3 hunters who had tried to kill him. But I accept your apology. And I hope we never have to fight again. On the same side or different sides. Thesa actually smiled. It was a strange expression on her silver face. Agreed. Though I hope if another great threat appears, you will answer the call again. I hope another great threat does not appear. I am very tired. Captain Yoon stood up. I think Do-yeon needs more rest. If you could all give us a moment? The officials and hunters filed out, though Thesa paused at the door. Park Do-yeon, she said. In my culture we have a saying, the greatest warriors are those who wish for peace. You are a great warrior. She left. Do-yeon stared at the closed door. Did an alien who tried to murder me just call me great? Yes, Captain Yoon said. How does it feel? Weird. He pulled the blanket up. I want to go home now. The ship leaves tomorrow. Can you wait one more day? Fine, but I am not going to any ceremonies. I already told them you would not. Silence filled the room. Do-yeon closed his eyes, but he did not sleep. Captain Yoon, yes? Do you think I will ever be normal? It was a strange question, but Yoon understood what he meant. No, she said honestly. I do not think you will ever be normal. But I do not think that is a bad thing. You are special, Do-yeon. And special people have special responsibilities. I do not want special responsibilities. I want to eat my grandmother's food and sleep in my own bed and not think about dimension monsters trying to eat the universe. No, it is not fair. No, it is not. He opened his eyes and looked at her. Will you at least tell my grandmother I am okay? She worries. I already did. I called her yesterday. She said to tell you that she is making your favorite soup for when you get home. Something in Do-yeon's tired face softened. Just a little. Thank you, he said quietly. The next day, a small transport ship left the Federation station and headed for Earth. No ceremony was held. No medals were given. The galaxy's greatest hero simply left, wearing his gray hoodie and listening to music through his earbuds. 3 weeks later, the Federation received an official report from Earth regarding the Void Worm Hunt. Inside the report was a handwritten note from Park Do-yeon. Got a B+ on the chemistry test. Could have been an A if I had not been unconscious for 3 days. Please do not contact me again unless something is actually ending the universe. And maybe not even then? Below that, in different handwriting, Captain Yoon had added, he is lying. He will come if you need him. He just wants you to feel guilty about asking. The Federation officials read the notes several times. Then they filed them in a special folder labeled Earth Class 7 Awakened Park Do-yeon. Humanity, they were learning, was a species full of contradictions. Soft but unbreakable. Humble but terrifying. Lazy but unstoppable when pushed. And Park Do-yeon was the most human of them all. A grumpy teenager who could kill gods. A hero who just wanted to go home. The galaxy would remember him, whether he wanted to be remembered or not. And somewhere on Earth, in a small house in a quiet neighborhood, a boy sat at his desk and studied for his next exam while his grandmother hummed in the kitchen. The universe was safe, at least for now. That was enough.